Yeah, so what we learned from the research, speaking at a very high level for a moment, and then thinking about its implications for organizations, businesses, and organizational life, is that it is the work of adolescence to develop a level of mental complexity that enables you gradually to truly be socialized into your your culture and your surround. Most of us begin adolescence pretty self-oriented and basically interested in getting our own needs met. The kinds of relief and satisfaction that parents of teenagers and the community at large feels when they say this adolescent has become a responsible citizen. They're talking about that development that can occur in the teen years where you have the ability to be shaped and made up by uh, your your cultural surround, and where you take on kind of the values of important others and the communities of which you want to be a part, and you yourself feels whole by virtue of its alignment with the expectations and definitions of reality that surround you in your family, in your community, in your faith community, whatever that might be. Now, that development, which can take place kind of in the teen years, hundreds of years ago, might have been a sufficient level of mental complexity to cope well with the demands of adulthood as well. That is, if you lived in a very traditional culture where there was a single definition of what you should do and what it is to be a man, what it is to be a woman, what it is to carry on in a way that will be respected by your tribe and by your community, that level of mental complexity, which we've learned from the research, can develop, in the teen years, would be sufficient to carry on as an adult in a traditional culture. But in a world with our technologies, it's pretty hard even to find surviving pockets of traditionalism anymore. We live in a modern world in which we are faced with an ever proliferating expansion of definitions of how one should live, who one should be, what are the values that one should hold. And it is a feature of modern life that we are increasingly called upon to not just align ourselves with the given definitions of reality and just to meet those expectations, which in adolescence we would think about as being responsible. But increasingly in adulthood, we are faced with one set of expectations for us that may come in one arena and another set of expectations that may come in another. How do we resolve such conflicts? Modern adulthood increasingly requires that people not just have the capacity to be made up by their culture, but to carry and build an internal authority, an internal ability to look at the various demands on us, the various expectations that others may have for us, and not to ignore them, but to be able to step back from them, ask ourselves certain questions as to whether these comport with our own internal theory, with our own internal identity. And that evolution, the evolution to what we call the self-authoring mind, from the socialized mind to the self-authoring mind, is one of the major gradual evolutions that we see in adulthood in modern times.